We're cruising in Josh's second gen now. We're gonna go and mess with the governor springs again today. We're gonna kind of loosen them up a couple of clicks to see if we can't get this thing to idle better. And then if that works, then I'm gonna do the same thing to mine, because I've been running mine like that for the longest time. So, and then we have AFC housing to do. And I don't know if I'll do the timing today, just because the P-pump needs to come off anyway. So a lot of guys are saying 16.5 is about what these trucks like for towing. So I think that might be what we go with. I'm gonna also dial my pump back on my truck to 16.5 as well. But you guys can see we're just sitting, chilling. So we got the idle a little high. It was sitting at like 850 yesterday, which I like the 850 mark. That's just my personal preference. I understand a lot of guys will run them lower, some guys will run them higher. You guys can see, pull this whole AFC housing off. There is one flathead screwdriver, a 13mm fitting, flathead, 2 8mm. We're gonna pull this guy off here, so there's a third 8mm back behind, and then a little clip right here. So I'm gonna pull all that off. We're gonna start messing with the AFC tuning. I'm gonna tune it exactly like I have mine, because I set mine up specifically so that it had a lot of oomph. So, and then this here we can mess with as it's in the truck. You guys can see the star wheel will be inside of there, so we'll mess with that and we'll go from there. But I'm gonna get this thing pulled off and we should be good, and then we'll mess with the governor springs while we have the fuel shutoff solenoid off. So these things are actually super easy to pull. I'm surprised. All right, here's the AFC housing with the AFC foot. You guys can see. So there are some things that can be done to this. What we'll end up doing is we'll pull this out and we'll max travel it. Basically, you're gonna cut off like a certain amount. So just take that to the grinder. And so that will be able to travel a little bit further. Also, I think I got my fuel plate in the whole way to the forward position. So we won't need to touch anything on the pump now. Basically, everything is gonna be on the ground. So I'm gonna go through on my last video that I did, because I did a video on this a long time ago. I'm gonna go through that video and figure out what exactly I did and just do basically the same thing. So he wants a lot of mid-range power, not too much low, and continue it up high. So that's what we're gonna try to shoot for with the tuning on this. And like I said, the star wheel is in here. That's pretty odd. This is just sitting in here. That is not normal at all. That should not just be... You guys see that? I haven't even touched this yet. I don't even have the socket to do this, and this is just flapping. So, even though everything else hasn't been tampered with, that definitely has. All right, so generally what I do is I just drill the bolts out, because I always have replacements. Then with that guy there, I'm gonna end up drilling that one. And yeah, so we'll have to pull this guy out as well, just to be able to pull this arm out, and then this arm will get trimmed down like I said, so we'll have more travel, more fueling. And with the 10 plate, I think it'll be a super good combination. With a 0 plate, it's definitely pretty aggressive on the EGTs. All right, so once you pull this off, you guys will see in here, there is all of this. Don't mess with it too much. You guys can see. So now I need to get my bolt out, pair of vice grips. Boom, gone. All right. You guys will see there's this here. So this basically will push in, and as air is applied, or as boost is applied here, this will get pushed in, this will go all the way down, more fuel, there you go. All right, so here's your pre-boost adjustment as well. That basically puts a bolt in there, and then that will basically stop this from traveling any further in. So that'll determine your minimal fueling. So don't want to mess with that too much. I will be adjusting it, but we're gonna adjust it basically to the point where it touches and then just back it off ever so slightly. That way we know that we're not using too much fuel when we don't need to. It's just basically pre-fuel, so we don't want this thing to be a smoky pig. So I have mine out as far as possible as well. As you can see, this arm here, you want that to be able to travel a little bit further than what it is. And don't lose these shims in here either. So what I do is I take a little screwdriver and just pop that out. You guys will see this comes. Now this has an adjustment, so when you're turning this, you guys can see this rod is offset. So that'll determine whether you're getting fuel up high, down low, whatever. So, like I said, we'll take a little bit off of this and we will be right back. All right, so get that nice and flat. You can see, you don't need to cut off much, just enough so you can see it's just a little bit of a nub. Just enough to give it the full travel that it can possibly do for a stock AFC. I know Power Driven Diesel makes a a max travel kit, so you guys can check that out as well, but for a factory AFC, this is basically the way to go. So yeah, I did a video a long time ago on the 12 valve, so go check that out when we actually put this thing together. But I'm gonna start getting this thing back together, and we'll go from there. All right, so you guys can see, if I decide, I could put this whole thing in. You guys can see ever so slightly that your max fueling is just, look at that, your minimal fueling. Look how far that is. So that's how you make your truck smoky. I don't like it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna back it all the way off until it stops moving. Then I'll put it back in, find out where it touches. There we go. All right, that's perfect. You get the minimal travel, so he'll actually get decent fuel economy, unlike what I was getting when mine was maxed out. But man, they really did a number on this star wheel. So I'm gonna try to see if I can't get that out and try to see if this isn't salvageable. But that's kind of ridiculous that they sold it to him like that. So we need to be able to get this out. Oh, look at that, we got it. Looks like they stripped, yeah. They stripped the housing in there in some places, so that sucks. All right, so while I'm in here, I'm gonna make sure that I did push that 10 plate all the way at the front. He did kind of want me to modify it a little bit, but I think I'm gonna leave it alone until we do the timing, which basically we'll pull this whole P-pump off and we gotta do the tappet cover gasket. I think this thing needs a rear main as well. But HX35 is a pretty decent turbo, so we'll see what we can work with this thing, and yeah, we'll start adjusting the boost once he gets his boost gauge in. All right, so you guys can see here is the wastegate adjustment that they send with the kit. I'm just gonna put it in there for him and see if he likes it. It's gonna up the boost a lot, so we'll see. I think this will push like 20 pounds. This will probably get us, I'd like to say 35 to 40 out of that little thing. So he's got head studs. We don't gotta worry about any of that shit. So I'm gonna get this thing pulled out and show you guys the differences. There you guys can see the difference. This is a big hollow hole, and that's gone. Whereas this is a little tiny one, so that should make a big difference. All right, so his complaint yesterday was you have to hit the throttle to start it, and it doesn't idle right, and it stalls a lot easier. Those are actually the 3 issues my truck had. So I backed off those governor springs by 3 clicks, and this thing fires right up. You know, it's a little cold outside, so maybe not on the first crank, but it definitely fires up. Let me get in here, show you guys if I go and hit it. Look at that, starts right up, idles perfect, got it perfect. He was able to stall it super easy, which, like I said, my truck does that too, so now that I know what it is, I'll go back and do it on my truck, but that is awesome. So let's see what this truck can really do now. All right, new GoPro battery. Let's see how it goes. Set you guys here the same way that I did with his truck, or with him when he was driving. Let me know if you want him to start a channel, because he kind of wants to. So let's see how this thing reacts. Whoa! Holy, okay. Okay, no, that's not a small difference. That's not a small difference at all. Wow, he's gonna be so happy. I'm gonna let it get more, like I didn't floor it or nothing. I just like gave it a little bit of throttle, and it definitely has more pep, and you can hear the turbo. All right, well, I'm gonna let this thing warm up, and I'm gonna give him a call, because that's not a small difference by any means. So we're just gonna go through, and basically I'm just gonna drive it. Sorry, this video is a little bit shorter. Been doing some pretty long videos lately, and yeah, I'm definitely happy to be able to do that. It's just those videos have been taking like 2 to 3 hours every night to edit. I really hope you guys appreciate them, but let's see. Okay, that's 55, that's, well, according to his speedometer, 55. Wow. I don't like to use 5th gear in his truck though, just because I'm kind of concerned about the 5th gear nut. But like, so basically all I did, number 10 fuel plate, full forward towards the front of the engine, AFC housing mods, the governor springs, 3Ks, yeah, and a boost, something to adjust the boost, a boost elbow. So that's a pretty substantial difference. I think he can live with this. I'm not going to do anything else to the truck at this point. I'm going to let him try this, see if he likes it. If he wants more, we'll give him more. If he doesn't, he doesn't. But well, the only thing we're going to do yet is probably just the timing. So, which, not just probably the timing, we definitely need to do the timing. And an exhaust. Definitely needs an exhaust. And it doesn't smoke. It does not smoke at all. That's awesome. We've accomplished our goal. We have a fast, non-smoky 2nd gen 12 valve. The goal was to make it faster than a Sequoia. I think we succeeded. All right, so we're coming to the end here. I'm about to get home. Today was nice. I'm into this thing about 2 days. So to get everything done that needed done, now we're gonna start focusing on the oil leaks, which this thing has quite a bit. Tappet cover, and it even needs a rear main seal. And not just a little bit. So I peeped out the tailpipe. There is definitely a little bit of smoke, but it's nowhere near. Yeah, that is nice. That is way nicer of an acceleration. Now, I definitely don't want to add any more power than what this has, just because he's, I don't want him to blow it up yet. It has the head stud, so the engine itself is fine. It's the trans that I would like to be able to have it hold out a little bit more, especially being an MV 4500. But yeah, so that's gonna do it. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you in the next one. We'll get some gauges for this thing so you can see them, but let me know if you want him to start a channel, and we'll see if we can make that happen. Appreciate you guys. See ya.